So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Karl Gilis. Thank you very much, Karl.
Thank you.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you for asking me again.
And the stage is yours.
All right. Who was here last year? I was here too, and I loved it. And I hope you're happy that I'm back. I love it. Oh, that's a big face. Bye. Where is my presentation? Hello, Karl. No. Oh, it's there. It's a little one. Okay, didn't see that. I have to be... Oh, that's strange. Video. Okay, now I'm here. So, for those who don't know me, I'm Karl, indeed. My Twitter handle is @agconsult, and I love to read your feedback on Twitter, so use it. Use the hashtag GPeC. Promote this stuff. And I'm in the business of user research and usability, growth hacking, conversion optimization, whatever you want to name it, since 2001, which means that we do have a lot of clients, but unfortunately, most of them don't allow me to share cases with you. But luckily enough, some of them do, and that's why there will be lots of examples in my talk about how to seduce your visitors, how to seduce your visitors into customers. Now, let me be very clear. If your website isn't that good, seducing doesn't make sense. You can only use persuasion techniques on a website that's good, and I talked about good websites last year. And all this has to do with what we call the usability pyramid, or the UX pyramid of needs. And the basic foundation, the basic layer is so important. Does your website work? And this sounds stupid, but 1 out of 3 websites, they do have problems in certain browsers or on certain devices. And then is your website accessible? And can people find what they're looking for? That's the structure of your website, information architecture. And then we have the UX layer. Can people use it? And then last year I talked about copy. Do they understand your website? Does your website convince me? And only then, if all that is okay, you can add the layer of persuasion. And then, and only then, you can have the cherry on the pie, the new hype, the personalization thing. And that's important. But guess what? If you have a shitty website and you add personalization to it, the result is a personalized, shitty experience. Do you remember this one, for those who were here last year? Imagine that you have a fleet card, maybe you don't have one, but imagine that you would go to a website of Rompetrol, Petrom, Total, Lukoil, Q8. What would be your goal? What do you want to find out on those websites? Prices and locations. All right, so let's see. This is BP in the UK. Last year they had something about art. This year they also have something about art. Is that what you expect from a petrol station brand? No. And there on the right side, there is the link to the petrol station finder. And I think kaboom when I see websites like that. And maybe now you're thinking, yes, Karl, but in your car you don't have a computer. You have a smartphone. And those websites will be adapted. When you take your smartphone, with 1 click of a button, you will find the nearest petrol station. Let's find out. No! They even added the stock exchange rate? What? The petrol station finder? It's gone. Is it gone? No. Look at that little arrow in the top of the bottom right. And if you click on it, nobody does it except me. It opens the link to the petrol station finder, and most people will do a little explosion in their head. And in the Netherlands, we have Q8. Their website isn't adapted for mobile, but half of the page is an advert to download the app. Nobody wants to do it. By the time you've downloaded the app, you're out of petrol. So let's go to Romania. You can still have a coffee at Gazprom. It's the same girl from last year. This was Rompetrol last year. You can have a sandwich. And I was so happy to see that their website has changed. Because now, it's not only a sandwich you can order, but people will bring it to your table. And the food has become more fancy, and they even have a present for you. But there you can click on Staci, or I don't know how to pronounce it, and that means stations. And if you click on it, somebody thought, oh, let's add a photo of a petrol station. Because never ever in my life I have seen a petrol station before, and now I know, oh, this is a petrol station. And when I start to scroll, there's an alphabetic list of all petrol stations in Romania. Why? Why are you doing these things? But luckily at Petrom, they serve pizza and Snickers, and there is Staci de Distribuție, whatever. So I click on it, and it's a text. And then I thought, okay, let's click on Carburanti, and then you have four, and I think, okay, it's kind of maybe a filter navigation, so let's click on the petrol 95, and there's more text, and this is what happens with most of your visitors. And this is one of the biggest problems with so many websites. They do suck big time. And that's why Evanes Kaushik from Google says, great marketing starts with not sucking. And this is important. If you add persuasion to those websites, they will be shitty websites. And the main problem is that most people ask themselves the wrong question. They're all about, what is the goal of my website? Well, it's not about you, it's about the visitor. So the question would be, what is the goal of your visitors? And then you will probably have a homepage that, based on geolocation, shows the nearest station with the prices. And then you will make your visitors happy. Because that's what it's all about, making your visitors happy. That's your job. And Brian Dean was here last year. I don't know if he said this here, but if you give your customers what they want, they will give you what you want, their money, their loyalty. They will become customers. So please, people, don't be that arrogant car salesman who thinks he knows everything. And one of the things I've learned the last year, and it's also an example I showed you last year, but we went a bit further this year, is that you have to zoom in on your customers and the problems and the situation of your customers. I don't know about you, but I like to cook. Yes, you can see that. And my kitchen is full of stuff you don't need. A banana cutter. A pineapple cutter. I don't have it. But I have lots of those things. Why? Well, because if you go to a market, these people, well, not this guy, but the one next to him, they make me believe that I don't buy those stuff, that I will not be a good cook. They pinpoint my problem. People don't like to come to eat at your place, Karl, if you don't have it. And that's why I have all those crazy stuff. And this is an example of a website that sells car parts. And the copy was full of advantages and specifications like, 10-year rust-free guaranteed. And a special treatment of the epoxy glass so we can hold hail balls the size of a tennis ball. And I was like, no, that's not the way people want to buy a car part. So we sent a mail to everybody who bought a car part last year, and we asked them 3 questions. Like, 1, what's the most important reason you bought a car part from us? Why? Was there something that almost stopped you from buying it? And then the 3rd question, and that's a question that most marketeers never dare to ask. It's a kind of a rude question, but we asked, hey, if we would come to your house tomorrow and we would break down your car part, what would you miss the most? And then people said things like, oh no, then I have to scrape the ice from the windshield again every morning, and in summer I have to get in a bloody hot car. I hated that. And I have to go more often to the car wash, and I hate to unload my groceries in the rain. And did you hear what people said? Nobody said, oh, I will miss the fact that for the next 9 years I won't have rust-free car parts anymore. And nobody said, oh, I will miss the special treatment of the epoxy glass. Nobody talked about specifications. And that's why in the new version of this page, the top list there, it's not about specifications, it's not even about advantages, but it says things like, are you tired of scraping the ice from your car every morning? Are you tired of getting in a bloody hot car in summer? Are you tired to go to the car wash? Are you tired of unloading your groceries in the rain? And the effect that this has is that people start nodding, like, yes, because that's why people want a car part, for those things. And they're like, yeah, yes. And they find a new friend. This website is a friend who understands their problems. Okay, it doesn't go like that, but the nothing is true. And then, of course, but only then, we showed a solution. But we changed the mind of the visitor. It was like, yes, yes, yes. And then it's like, oh, let's buy this shit. And of course, this results in more conversions. And this is very important. And why I'm repeating this story is that a few weeks ago, I spoke at another conference, and Joanna Wiebe was there. And Joanna is one of my favorite copywriters. And she had a similar case. This is about a product that really is for people that have a sweat problem and really sweat a lot. And this is the old page, and control your sweat and wear what you want, that's okay. But then the rest of the page is about the product and 1,800 customer reviews. And she did something similar as we did with the car parts. It says, yes, even in winter, my armpits are wet. And then she does the same thing. Do you recognize the fact that you don't dare to wear black clothes in summer? And that you don't want people to give high fives, or that you don't want to hug people, and you don't go to the fitness, and you put paper napkins under your armpits. And the result with these people who have that problem is like, yes, oh yes, I have that problem. I have found a new friend, and then you will sell more. And this is so important, and I know that most people think, oh, I have to show the product immediately, but that's not always true. You have to pinpoint the problem. That will probably help. And you have to stop the marketing bullshit. Nobody is interested in the marketing bullshit. And once again, it comes to the same thing, that you have to stop selling the way that you want to sell stuff, and you have to start selling the way people want to buy things. And then, and only then, it will work. Now, okay, you're already relaxed. It's not that you're panicking, but please keep calm. I'm going to show you two versions of the same page, and it's up to you to guess which version led to more conversions. It's a product detail page on the website of Barco, and this is the first version, and you see a call to action on the top left even before you see what the product is about, the page is about, and then there's another call to action at the end of the page where probably most people already left. And in the second version, there's a call to action, and it's programmed that way. If you scroll, it's always visible. So wherever you are on the page, you can always ask a quote. The question is simple. And which version do you think that led to more conversions? And now I'm going to check if somebody is awake. Who votes for the one on the left with the two call to actions on top and the bottom? Who thinks that is the winner? Nobody. Who thinks that the one on the right is the winner? And the other people, you're asleep. I can see you. But okay, so nobody votes for that one. And that's a shame, because you have to put your call to action where people see it. And this is nothing new. In 2003, Jacob Nielsen published a first study that proved that people don't see the right-hand bar. I wrote an article in 2006 when we noticed something similar during user tests. In 2010, Nielsen published a new study that proved that after 600 pixels, people fall asleep. And last year, Google removed the right-hand bar. And still we think, oh, the call to action to the right, that's a good solution. No! It fucks! And it's already there for 10 years, and it doesn't work on most websites. So put your call to action where people see it. This is another example, and I was the guy who put the call to actions to the right. So yes, I've done all those mistakes. But then we moved it to the left, because people were looking to the left, and of course this resulted in more clicks, more people clicking on those buttons. You don't have to play hide and seek with your buttons. You know the ghost button thing that most designers love? I make a call to action and you don't see it. Have you found the call to action already? It's there. Your call to action should stand out even if you don't understand the language. Now you see what the call to action is. And my friends at Unbounce, they did a test with it. They had a normal call to action and then a ghost button call to action. And the result is that we now had 600% more people clicking on things that were not clickable because they didn't know what the call to action was. Make sure that these things are okay, because it doesn't help to add persuasion to your website if people can't even see where they can buy your stuff. But even more important than the look is what is on your call to action. And I showed this example last year, and then from then on it's new stuff. This is a homepage from a travel website. It's a river cruise on the Rhine, and the button reads, "Book now." Well, I don't think that a lot of people will book now. Because there's no price, there's not a lot of information, there are no dates, and if you click on it, you get to a product detail page. So what would be a better text for that button? Read more, discover this trip. See what Booking.com is doing. The website is called Booking.com. If you do a search for a hotel, and you get a listing page with all the hotels, and the button reads, "See all available rooms," or "Choose your room," and you're like, okay. And then on the next page, the product detail page, there are several rooms available, and the button says, "I reserve," and you're like, okay, I'll reserve. And then there's another step, and then finally, at the end of the process, when you've given your credit card details, for the first time they use the word booking on a button. They do their attack slowly, and they mimic the goals of the users, the visitors. And this guy is Casanova, in case you were wondering. He knows how to seduce people. I have no idea. Now, last example of this that you've seen. This is a website. Main goal is to search a dealer, and the button reads "Fachbetrieb suchen," which means search a dealer. But do you want to search a dealer, or do you want to find a dealer? So we changed it to find, and there were 14% more people clicking on it. So never use buttons like send or submit or contact. And if you're in the service industry, or if you have something like a product at a special price, don't use ask a quote, but what does the customer want? He wants to get a quote, yes. And when does he want it? He wants it? Yes! And do you want a quote or your quote, my quote, things like that, and they do work. Make it as personal as possible and start from the intention of the visitor. Karl, does it work? Yes. So we had a client and we had a button, "Get a quote," and he was like, "Yes, Karl, but can you make contact sales of it?" I was like, "Yeah, and I don't think it's a good idea." And it wasn't. And they said, "Yes, Karl, but one of your tips is to make it personal. Can you make contact us?" I was like, "You don't understand, but we'll try it." And no, it wasn't a good idea. So we tried just to amuse the client, "Get your quote now," and that was an increase in conversions. And that's important, to use positive words all the time and start from the intention of the user. This is a test we did on a medical website. So this is the shopping block, and the thing on top reads free shipment from €60, and there's also something, you can't translate it literally, but it's the mix between in stock and immediately deliverable. And we just played around with the ingredients that were already there. You see in the variation, we put one of those texts, we tried several things, but immediately deliverable, in stock now, right under the call to action. And it worked. We saw an increase of people clicking on it. And the reason is that when somebody wants to click on a button, in his subconscious, there's always a kind of a devil sitting on his shoulder like, "Oh, are you sure that you want to buy on this website? Do you trust this website? Do you want to spend your money? Are you allowed from your husband or your wife to spend money on this website?" And we have to take away that pain. We have to reassure the visitor. And the problem with this is that you have to test it. And this is a test from Michael Agard, who works now for Unbounce. And he said, okay, the rule is put a reassuring message near your call to action. So he wrote, 100% privacy, we will never spam you. And why? Because it's a negative word. And people see a word spam and they're thinking like, oh, they say they won't spam me, but that's probably because they will spam me, because otherwise they won't say it. And bam, the moment is over. And when they changed it to a more reassuring message, we guarantee 100% privacy, your privacy will not be shared, there was bam, a raise in conversion. So the tip is true, because that's why Booking.com uses it all the time. With every call to action, there are messages like this, and it goes on and on and on. But you have to test, is it the right message? Does it really work for my visitors? And then, if we have our call to action, okay, maybe it's time to tell you something about pricing. And this may sound counterintuitive. But most people, and good salesmen, if you watch them, or you see what they do, they will always try to sell you or show you, not sell you, but show you the most expensive product first. If you go buy a car, nah, not this car, a normal one. But most salespeople will try to get you in the car with the leather seats first. And only after that, in those with the normal seats. If you go to buy a printer, they will show you the printer that prints, I don't know, 10 pages a minute and has 6 ink cartridges first. And then they will go to the slower models. And the effect that has on your brain, and once again, it's subconscious. It's like with every product they show you, every new product, they take things away. And it's like, oh no, it only prints 6 pages a minute, and that one was 10 pages. I need 10 pages a minute. So a first test was done about this, and I think it's done many years ago from the guys from Basecamp. And they switched around, and they started with the most expensive product, and they ended with the cheapest product. And you see what's happening? Whoa, unlimited projects, 100 projects, 35. Do you think I'm a pussy? And you buy the more expensive product. They saw an increase in revenue with 34%, and average order value also went up. And if you don't believe it, believe it. A few months ago, I received a box of chocolates from someone who was in a conference, and she had a hotel. And she said, I applied your tip. And now she starts with the suites first. And then only at the end of the page, there are the normal rooms. And she even changed the name of the room to budget room. Who wants to take his boyfriend, girlfriend, partner to a hotel and say, oh, I booked a budget room? And yes, she saw an increase in revenue, and she sold more stuff. And this is a strange tip, this one. You have to start with the larger number first. And with large, I don't mean make them big like this one, but show the most expensive price first, and then the reduced price. That's called priming. And you know who was pretty good at it? Steve. When they launched the iPhone, the first iPhone, for 25 minutes, this was on the screen, $199. And everyone was thinking like, whoa, that's expensive, man. But yes, it's a phone. And you can call things, and you can also do telephone. And then he said, what do you think it will cost? $999? No! And everyone's like, oh, it's a cheap phone. And the next morning, you know, at that time, everybody had a Nokia. I don't know, 50, 100 euros or something. Tonight or tomorrow, you have to go to booking.com and watch carefully. They do the similar thing. And it's an animated GIF, so it's on repeat. But first, you see the normal price, and then the thing is working, and then what? That's your reduction. But first, you're primed to see the old price, and it's like, oh! And you're like, oh, I have to buy this. And that's priming, and it works. And maybe you can't do it, but then you can do something with the people that the Hotjar do. They start with big numbers first, and then normal numbers. 20,000 page views a day for only $89. If you do it the other way around, it doesn't have the same effect. Use big numbers first. And then, who thinks, but really thinks, that this blue button, ball, circle on the left is bigger than the other one? I still think it's bigger. And you all think it's bigger, but it's the same. But it looks bigger because the products around it are different. Can we use this on our website? Oh, yes, we can. I don't think they will sell a lot of medium stuff. And most people will buy the big thing. And this is what most people think that the decoy effect is about. You have two products, and then the most expensive product looks expensive. And then you add another product, and then the product that was most expensive now looks like, nah, okay. And most of the times it will work, but once again, you have to test those things. This is a test done by Usabilla on their website, and they had 3 packages, one $39, $89, $49. And the first thing they tried was to make the most expensive product more expensive. So it changed from 139 to 199, because then they thought more people will buy the standard version. No, we drove more versions to the cheapest, more people to the cheapest version. There was still an increase in conversions, but then they did another test where they changed the cheapest price and made it now $79. So the difference between small and standard was only $10, and people were like, I'm not going to buy the small stuff, I'm going to buy the standard stuff. And bam, there was an increase of revenue with almost 20%, 18%. So that is what you can do when you play with pricing and when you use the decoy effect. And I guess most of you know this example, Dan O'Reilly, theeconomist.com, a newspaper. They had two products. You can buy a web-only subscription, a print-only subscription, and most people bought the web-only subscription because it was so much cheaper. And then they added the decoy product, the product that nobody would buy, but makes another product more interested. So they combined the print and web in one price, and it was the same price as print-only. And now everyone was like, oh, I have to buy this shit because I make an advantage of it. No, but yes. So it works. And then, nobody believes it, but it works. I don't know about here, but even in Belgium, in fancy restaurants, they only use numbers in the menu. They don't put euro next to it, because then it doesn't actively register it in your brain like, oh, I'm spending money here. This is one of the most successful e-commerce web shops in Belgium and the Netherlands. It's just $169.95. No lei, no euro, no dollars. And if you sell to different countries, then you have to use a symbol, but make it as small as possible, like Amazon is doing. What do you think? What looks cheapest to you? This one or this one? Or this one? Or this one? Or this one? The shorter your price looks, the cheaper we think it is. That's how our brain works. And then we can talk about persuasion, and you thought that this talk was only about this, but it isn't. But of course, we need to use social proof. That's what those guys at the Market Square do all the time. Everybody wants it. And we know how we can use it. 85 people already booked this. But of course, you have to find a number, because sometimes 85 will not be enough for your website. If it's like, oh, 6 times booked, I don't think the social proof is working in the right direction, and you will probably have a problem. But then you have to think, how can we use social proof? This hotel was booked 20 times, but the other one not. But then they use something like 212 people have added it to their short list, their wish list. There's nothing there about the last 2 days or the last week. Maybe it's the last 2,000 years, but that doesn't matter. But use numbers. Numbers convince people. 153 sold. Yeah. And 19 people are seeing it this hour, not this minute, but maybe today. Use those tricks that Booking.com is using. Try to find how they could work for you. This is a test done by my friends of Online Dialogue in the Netherlands, and they use the same pop-up technique that Booking.com is using. They said, okay, 1,000 people have downloaded a brochure, and 242 people have booked a test drive, and bam, they had now 80% more people booking a test drive. Yes, social proof works. Basecamp, 100,000 paying customers. Maybe you don't have 100,000, but think, what numbers can you use? At the bottom of their page, there's something genius. It's like, in 2004, we had 45, and now we have 2,580,030 accounts. And you're like, oh, and I don't have one, I need one. And if you don't have many clients, just use logos, but avoid that someone who's on your website thinks, oh, will I be the first customer? No, make it clear. Use those numbers. Combine it like here. VWO, 50 milliseconds, that's a technical thing, and then it's 5 billion visitors, 4,000 customers. But use those numbers. It works, it works, it works. Yes, Karl, but I'm just launching a new website. Then use the language. This is the bestseller. This is the most popular product. Use the words. It works all the time. And I hope I can explain this example. It's so brilliant. It's a mindfuck you won't believe. This is the post, and when you move from an old address to a new address, there's a service that they send you the mail from the old address to the new address. And standard, it starts at 6 months. And it's $36. And you see next to it the decoy prices, 5 months is more expensive than 6 months. And this 12-month version is like so expensive nobody would buy it. But even then they saw that most people were like, 6 months, that's a lot. Let's go to 3 months. And then we added a little text, and the text says, are you sure about this? Because it often happens that your mails, private, but also accounts and bills, they arrive, they will be sent to your old address for several months. And that is why most people go for the 6 months. And half of the people who went from 6 months to 3 months, they went back to 6 months because we mind-fucked them. No, sorry. We help them to make the best decision for them. And that's so important. And people are always asking, does it work, social proof?
Is a candid star. These folks who are entering, the man with a white shirt, the lady with a trench coat, and subsequently one other member of our staff, will face the rear. And you'll see how this man in the trench coat tries to maintain his individuality, but little by little, he looks at his watch, but he's really making an excuse for turning just a little bit more to the wall. Now we'll try it once again. Here's the candid subject. Here comes the candid camera staff, 3 of them at least. And this man has apparently been in groups before. Now, here's a fella with his hat on in the elevator. First he makes a full turn to the rear and Charlie closes the door. A moment later, we'll open the door, everybody's changed positions.
So yeah, social proof, group pressure, it works. This video has been redone last year and we still do the same things, and that's why social proof works. And then of course, it's not only people buy that stuff, but they love it. And we know that in '97, Amazon introduced the reviews, positive ones and negative ones. And we love to read reviews from other people, and Booking.com brought it to the next level. Not only the numbers, but they added words with every half-point number, and it's the combination between the number of reviews and the results. And maybe you don't have 2,652 reviews, but use the principle. Add customer quotes, customer testimonials, and make sure, and this is the last principle, I think the new book of Cialdini is about this, the principle of unity. Because you tend to believe or think that people that are the same as you are more trustworthy than other people. And that's why with Booking.com, you can dream down to your situation. I only want to review reviews from business people, or maybe from people with kids, or maybe people without kids. And I am not interested in people who love the gym and the spa in a hotel. I'm interested in people who love the restaurants. So I want to read those reviews, and if you can do that, it makes it more believable. So if you have testimonials on your website, and you have clients, big companies and small companies, make sure that you also have testimonials from small companies, because a self-employed guy or girl, he doesn't like to read a testimonial from Total or BP, because that's not his or her situation. So make sure you have a mix between those things. And then, of course, the trick that everybody knows. These are the last ones. We know it from Booking.com. We know it from Amazon. They always use it. The last pieces in stock. And the more precise you can be there, the better it is. Because yes, that works. Scarcity is a principle that works and will always work. But then again, think how you can use it. I'm in the service industry and I use it all the time. I only have place for 2 clients next month. I only have place for 5 new clients this year. I have scarcity, even in the service industry. Every principle, you can adapt it to your business, but you have to think about it. And I didn't know where to put this example. I think it has more to do with social proof, I don't know. But this is an e-commerce website where they sell vintage jewelry. So it's always one piece, so the scarcity is there from nature. But then they had kind of social proof of pressure. They say, hey, 4 other people have already added this item to their wish list. And it's like, oh, fuck, I need to buy it now. So it adds pressure. Think about those things, how you can use it. And lots of people, they ask me, why is Booking.com showing hotels that are already sold out? Because it adds to the pressure. There are only 3 rooms available in the next one, but the previous one is sold out. You missed it. It says you missed it. That's the fear of missing out. That's FOMO in real life. And you're like, oh, I need to buy it now. Oh, the rose gold is out of stock. Lucky for me. So I will buy the silver or black one. But it adds pressure to make it clear that your products are popular. And of course, we know this trick. We give something for free. Oh no, we add some time pressure. But it has to be precise. This slide shows an example of a website. It's like, offer ends soon. And then they added a counter. Like, ding, 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 ding. And 226 people were now like, oh, I need to buy it before it ends. So you have to be precise in those offers. Amazon is doing it all the time, but they don't have a counter that really goes doing, doing. It's very discreet. I don't have a moving screenshot, but it's here. And if you're on the website, you see ding, ding, ding. And they have a second one. If you order it within 2 hours, it will be delivered tomorrow. So they play with time pressure all the time. Ticketmaster, or maybe if you have a sale on your website, you buy it and then they say, oh, you only have 5 minutes left, and then we will put your ticket back in the, make it free again, or deliver. And people are like, oh, it works, don't use it. We did it on the Suzuki website. This was an overlay in generic about the car trade show, and everybody knows that the car trade shows and the conditions, they end the end of January. But in the second version, we just added the date. Do it before January 31. And of course, it was a winner. There were now 37% more people doing it because we used time pressure. It's not only 25 reduction, it's today. And look at the copywriting. Prices may go up, so secure your reservation today. It's like, prices may go down, but they don't say that. But it's priming the brain. And these are the words you can use, even if you don't have a counter. But use those words, they do work. And of course, we give things for free. You book a hotel room for 3 nights and you only have to pay for 2 nights. And you have a free shipping and you have free return policies and all that stuff. This is a good trick, 10% off, but only for the next 60 minutes. So it's a combination of the 2 things. And then people will buy free gift for your first purchases. See to adapt, and use those tricks. And then there's one thing that I really learned this year. And that is, as usability people, we forget one thing, and that is that we have to give compliments to our visitors. So we had a shopping cart on an e-commerce website. It was done in Shopify, and the conversion rate was like, meh. So what we did, we added a little pop-up questionnaire saying, okay, what is the, why are you not completing your purchase today? And some of the answers were like, I don't understand the special instructions. Okay, nobody understands it. And then other people said, how can I pay? What are the possibilities? And okay, that's missing. And other people said, okay, what is the delivery time? And okay, so we changed based on the input, we changed the page, we deleted the clutter, we added the payment possibilities. There was a free international shipping and 2 to 4 days delivery time. And the results of this A/B test were amazing. Well, for me, it didn't do anything. And I was really like, fuck off. What's wrong? Have I lost it? And then I went back to the survey, the answers, and then I realized that we didn't do anything with 70% of the answers because we didn't know what to do. You know, this website was selling watches and glasses, and 70% of the answers were things like, yeah, you have so many choices, I'm not sure that I'm buying the right sunglasses. And I don't know if the round glasses are better for my face or not. And I was in doubt between gray and light gray, and I'm not sure that the watch is too big or too small for my wrists. So it was all about insecurity. And then I thought, bam, that's what in real life a shopping assistant, female or male, is doing. You put something on and you're like, oh, nice. And you think, oh, I wanted to use the catwalk, I'm using the catwalk. And that's what we did. Look at the left-hand side, the boring My Cart, we changed it with, you've made an excellent choice, baby. And bam! And on mobile, the differences between the original version and the version where we ended were bigger. The copy was even adjusted a little bit, shipped same day, in stock now, sells fast, and the difference was bigger. And then I realized that I thought, oh, I've invented something new, and then I booked a hotel room on booking.com, and then I noticed that they're doing the same shit all the time. Today is your lucky day, Karl! You're a genius! The loyalty program of booking.com is called Genius. You book 5 hotel rooms, and they call you a genius. And that's it, that's giving compliments, it's assuring your user, it's making your visitors happy. And that's what it's all about. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Karl? Can you make it? I love the energy, man. So, any questions? Okay, just a second.
Hey, Karl.
Hi.
Am I audible? Yes.
Yes.
Jorge Nagu here. So thank you very much for a lovely presentation. Really, really great and useful information.
Thank you.
I've spammed you on Twitter, so it's a lot of messages.
That's good.
Just a question about scarcity marketing.
Yes.
So I've recently read a report by Nebraska University, that says that there are certain types of people who are more susceptible to scarcity marketing. Do you think there are some ways to conduct something like cohort analysis to see which type of, which personas of your users are more susceptible to this kind of thinking? Thanks.
That's a good question. So yes, it's true. And now I'm thinking, how can we solve this? And now we have to go to analytics people, because I'm not one of those analytics persons. That's a good question. I think we will go there when we know more about our visitors. So I think with some of the new AI tools, I know it's a new thing, that it will probably understand the differences between people, because some people, they don't react to it. Some people, it works all the time. And I think and some people will have that with booking.com. I don't know if booking.com is popular here, but some people like the website, and for other people it's like, whoa, they're gone over the edge, but they do testing all the time, and they're really walking on the edge. So yes, it's true, but I have no idea. Does anybody have the answer for this question? How to do it? No. So sorry. That's very good. Other questions?
Question?
Please ask questions I can answer.
Nice presentation.
Thank you. It's not working, I think.
First of all, I
Yes.
didn't know about so many traps on booking.com. I pay someone. So we have created an emotion. We have made the customer to pass over the buy instinct. Some hints to make him decide to keep that good, and not to return it.
Maybe that's a good topic for my talk next year. Because then it only starts. Somebody have bought something, and it's one of the biggest problems there. I don't know the return policy of Zalando, but it's huge, so people are doing it. One of the things that we've learned that worked is to make the return period longer. And it seems counterintuitive. But if your return policy is only 14 days, people are like, oh, I have to open it, I have to try it, and I will send it back. And if you make your return policy 36, 1 year, a lot of people will say, okay, I have time. But then after 1 month, they're like, I'm not going to send it back because I already have it for 1 month. Will I do it, yes or no? In the clothing industry, we worked for shoe.com, which is one of the biggest retailers in the UK. What we did was not only show the shoe size, but in the comments when people said the shoe is too small or too big, because it differs from brand to brand, we added it on top of the page, like it's a small 36 or it's a big one. So we made it as clear as possible, and the same with other clothes. It's like it's a tight fit. So make it as clear as possible on your website, and then afterwards, make it as user-friendly as possible. And I think the 1 year return policy is one of the tricks that we've seen that works. but nobody dares to do it. I see you smiling, you don't dare it.
Other questions, please?
That's a good question.
Okay, we have 2 questions in here.
It's a master table.
Yes? Your name?
Sure. Okay, so my name. I'm Sebastian Pap, and I have a question for Gilis. Yeah, so you talked about usability and conversions, and why people are laughing?
No, I just changed the slide. I'm sorry. They only have 45 seconds left to download
that's
my
not a
book.
problem.
All right, I'll be short and simple. So you talked about usability and conversions, and I was hoping that you will mention this thing as well regarding titles. I mean, you are using some headline analyzers or something like that.
No, we don't use headline analyzers as such. It's one of the slides I deleted, but I have 152 slides. Yesterday morning I had 198 slides, and one of the things I deleted was about headlines. And what we often do, but I think I spoke about it last year, is a 5-second test. We just upload a screenshot and maybe 2 or 3 versions and different titles and different proposals. It's a website called 5-second test. And then people see your page for 5 seconds, and after 5 seconds we ask, what have you seen? And then you see that some titles ring bells and other titles don't ring bells, and that sometimes people don't understand what you're trying to sell. So that's a good thing to see how the immediate reaction is from people to headlines. If you're using WordPress or something, there are a lot of A/B testing tools for blog titles, and the newspapers use it all the time to see which headline works best, but that's more to share the headline, and it's difficult to measure headline and real conversion. But the 5-second test is something that maybe you can use for that. Headlines, very important. First impression, very important. One of the things I deleted.
Sabina?
Hello, my name is Sabina from F64. I've got my ebook, so I'm in on time. Thanks for signing up, so it's okay. You made it. You're a showman. Congrats for that. I already forgot my question, but get my free ebook.
It works.
Yes, it works.
It's system 1 and system 2.
So I've learned my lesson, and I've learned everything that my customers said, and I've changed my website. Yes, but you know, the haters and the people. What did you do?
Yeah.
Get my old website back. I can't find anything.
Yeah, that's
What am I doing then?
Relax. No.
And go home.
No, don't go home. But that's one of the problems. I hope that your new website is adapted to those things, and that you have tested it, and that you're sure it's better.
Yes, but the customer is afraid because
but then it changes, and
can't
everyone's
find
like,
anything.
yeah! Remember Facebook 2 or 3 years ago, they changed something in the timeline, and everyone was like, bah! But Facebook didn't go back, they just kept on. And after a few weeks, those clients were adapted. But yeah, it's horror, and that's why I say relax. But most people, if it's better, after 2 or 3 weeks, they will regain it. We're working for a big e-commerce website now somewhere, and and they're like releasing it for the first 5% of visitors, and I'm like, don't do it in a 2 or 3 month time period. Just do it, and monitor it, and be very customer friendly. And one of the things you can do is when you launch a new website, and there are really important things that have changed, then you can use an overlay with some arrows, like your shopping basket used to be there, now it's there, and if you're looking for that, it's there. So a little help thing of help file, like you see on many apps are doing that. It's kind of overlays to make people adjusted, but don't be afraid. If it's better, it will be better, and your people will adapt.
Thanks a lot.
Otherwise, every site would be the same forever and
Okay,
ever.
final question, please.
Okay. Hi, my name is Nikola Ilchev. I'm from e-commerce Academy Bulgaria. The question is, in your presentation, we saw a lot of tips which are coming from booking.com. Obviously, they're using lots of them all the time. At what point, in your opinion, actually the client start feeling a little bit tricked? And is there any perfect formula of a maximum of these tricks that we should use in our website?
It's a good question, and I will reveal the magic formula. No, it doesn't exist, of course. And that's the problem. It's like, what is the edge? How far can we go? And for every website is different, and that's why I'm always reluctant with these tips like today. They work But you have to test it, and if you can't test it, some of those tricks will work against you. So please apply them on a normal level. If you feel that you're going, then make sure that you can do an A/B test, because it's really, it's walking on the edge, and sometimes it works and doesn't work. So that's the only answer I can give. I'm sorry. And I wished it for 15 years that there is something like a booklet or a suitcase you can buy, like the perfect e-commerce website, but it doesn't exist, and your audience is different, the products you're selling are different, so yeah, you have to feel it and test it. Sorry for that answer.
Thank you very much, Karl.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.